have an English name, but I don't have a Korean name. The character in here, she's an immigrant from Korea who has a Korean name. Everyone's mispronouncing it, and eventually she decides, I need a more American name. And so I just bookmarked a couple places in the book in order for students to empathize. Just like there's a scene in the bus, this kind of is where her feelings start to get really jumbled about her own name, and so like how does she feel as she leaves that bus experience. And then my engineering idea came from this page where she shows a stamp that her grandmother had given her before leaving the country, and it shows her Korean name on a stamp. And so what the activity is first have students define, or their challenge is to create a stamp that symbolizes you. And so the first step is to just define yourself, like write your name, create a cloud, think of words and symbols, and then decide on a design that you like. And then for the ideate part, that's where I was able to put in some DCIs. If you want to do a kindergarten one with push and pull, then students test it out, like how does a hard push with a material compared to a light or medium. So these are different materials, like a pipe cleaner, cotton ball, cardboard, or string wrapped around cardboard. If we're doing this with second grade, then you can do the materials standard, where they're testing to see how do different materials work in terms of like soaking up that ink or how flexible the materials are to use. So then after that, they get to create their prototype using materials. So it could either just be one stamp or several stamps, and then they test it out by actually stamping and using evidence from the previous investigations of like, are you gonna press it really hard or light? Which materials did you use? And then they evaluate their stamp, and that's where the testing part comes, where they take their original design idea and they'll go and survey students and ask like, how similar do you think my original design that I was going for matches with my stamp design? And so it's a simple like, looks exactly like it, sort of, there's some work to do, or like, that looks nothing like what you had intended to make. And so they'll document that, and they'll help them to go back and decide, do they need to redesign and some improvements to make. And I just thought like, to bring in some computer programming too, like if you have time, you could even take this to 3D printing and have them create their original design on like Tinkercad or something like that. So yeah, that's it.
Nice job. Snap it up.